Sophie Turner is no stranger to having her love life be a hot topic on the internet. Last year, her very public divorce from Joe Jonas after 4 years of marriage dominated the headlines for weeks, you guys. And now, 8 months later, Sophie Turner is breaking her silence on the shocking aftermath of her divorce in an interview with British Vogue, and she has a lot to say about it. In British Vogue's June 2024 cover story, Sophie Turner shared her experiences following the announcement of her pending divorce from ex-Disney star Joe Jonas. Sophie Turner is now reflecting on the wave of speculation that ensued following their separation, including rumors suggesting that she favored partying over her role as a mother of two, and rumors portraying her as a mom who neglected her parental responsibilities, which led people to believe she was the one to blame for their divorce.
Yesterday was day one of Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas's 4-day mediation, and it was said that they were in there for 8 hours. Imagine having to go through a public divorce. You're going to mediation with your ex, trying to figure out your divorce agreement, your custody, and you have a swarm of people in your face trying to get your photo. And yet, like the queen that she is, she showed up in seemingly good spirits. An LA-based family law specialist gave his expertise. He's not connected to the case, but he said mediation is clearly a common way to make headlines disappear. At this point, Joe and Sophie have to sit down and make a decision, and the mediator will help them make that decision as to whether or not they want to really be public with all of this. And by being public with all of this, he's of course referring to trial, which we know will begin in January if they don't figure things out. And today is day 2 of mediation. Sophie Turner arrived again in all smiles, and you know that she's going through a lot, so the fact that she's even smiling, whether she's faking it or not, adore her. Hopefully they can figure everything out in mediation and not have to take this to trial. It's very public already, and for the kids' sake, I don't think they'd want that out there.
The couple, who married in 2019 and separated last year, have 2 children, Willa, who is 4, and Delphine, who is almost 2. Just to quickly recap, during the period of their divorce making waves on social media, it seemed like there was a new story about the couple's split every day. The media coverage ranged from reports of Sophie enjoying partying to a Ring camera footage that supposedly captured something that made Joe realize the marriage was over, to sightings of Taylor Swift and Sophie together. The entire situation set the internet ablaze, and this was going on for weeks. Joe stated in legal documents that his marriage to Sophie was irretrievably broken, with sources informing TMZ that their relationship had been troubled for at least 6 months before they decided to separate, while Sophie, on the other hand, had claimed that she caught wind of their separation all via the media. The couple later issued a joint statement that went absolutely viral, indicating that they had mutually decided to end their relationship. The filings also indicated that the breakdown of their marriage happened very suddenly, pointing to an argument they had on Joe's birthday, August 15. TMZ reported that Joe opted to file for divorce due to his and Sophie's different lifestyles, with the source allegedly stating she enjoys socializing while he prefers a more homebound lifestyle. However, one of the most intriguing claims about their separation was that Joe had allegedly viewed footage from their Ring camera showing Sophie doing or saying something that significantly impacted his decision to initiate this divorce. This is alleged though, and this supposed Ring camera footage is nowhere actually on the internet. These are just allegations made by sources. Well guys, now in a recent interview with British Vogue, Sophie is sharing all her emotions regarding the divorce, how it was all publicized, and discussing the experience of enduring a multitude of rumors about the situation, and addressing the criticism she faced for being photographed without her children while images of Joe with their kids were being compared all around that time. She said, "I mean, those were the worst few days of my life." Explaining where she was when everything started to happen, she goes, "I remember I was on set. I was contracted to be on set for another 2 weeks, so I couldn't leave." Sophie was in the UK and her kids were in the US. She said, "My kids were in the States and I couldn't get to them because I had to finish Joanne, and all these articles started coming out." And amid the rumors circulating about the reasons behind Sophie and Joe's divorce, something Sophie apparently cannot delve into due to legal constraints, as per Vogue, Sophie talked about the contrasting images of Sophie socializing without her children compared to Joe being seen with them, and it was at this point where the mom-shaming comments began significantly impacting Sophie. She said, "It hurt because I really do completely torture myself over every move I make as a mother. Mom guilt is so real. I just kept having to say to myself, none of this is true, you are a good mom, and you've never been a partier." She continued talking about how the media was making her out to be, saying, "I mean, it's unfathomable the amount of people that will just make up and put it up based on a picture. A picture might tell 1,000 words, but it's not my story. It felt like I was watching a movie of my life that I hadn't written, hadn't produced, or starred in. It was shocking. I'm still in shock. Tensions escalated when reports emerged that Sophie was suing her estranged husband to have their daughters returned to England, alleging that Joe was withholding their children's passport, as a lot of you may remember about that. The lawsuit was dismissed afterwards though, and two of them ended up reaching a custody agreement. And to that, Sophie goes on to say, "There were some days that I didn't know if I was going to make it. I called my lawyer saying I can't do this, I just can't. I was just never strong enough to stand up for myself, and then finally, after 2 weeks of me being in a rut, she reminded me that it was my children I was fighting for." She says, "Once anyone says to me, do it for your kids, I'm doing it. I wouldn't do it for myself, but I'll find the strength for them." And reflecting on her relationship with Joe, Sophie recalls suddenly being thrust into a big celebrity family, telling British Vogue there was a lot of attention on the three brothers and the wives. Well, we were always called the wives, and I hated that. It was kind of this +1 feeling. And that's nothing to do with him. In no way did he make me feel that. It was just that the perception of us was as the groupies in the band.
When did you realize, you go, oh, I think I'm gonna marry Joe Jonas?
I mean, the first night I met him, I remember, like, he left my apartment, and it may have been the alcohol, but, like, he left.
What was the apartment? You just came over for a date?
He didn't come over. No, I'm not that forward. We went out and we hung out at a bar with, like, all my friends and all his friends, and then they all came back to my apartment, and we had drinks after.
Yeah.
And I remember him leaving, and I just, like, wept. I wept to my brother. I was like, I love this man so much.
Their case ended up being settled in January of 2024 this year with the consent of both of them, as reported by New York Times, and court documents as they reached a custody agreement. And now looking forward and discussing her co-parenting relationship with Joe. So it's good to know that the both of them are pushing through this and working together and, you know, just co-parenting for their little girls. But I want to know what you guys think about all of this, how this all played out. It was definitely a crazy time and crazy situation back when the divorce was making waves on social media, but this is the aftermath of Sophie's side. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.